Hello, traders. We're going to take a look at Pfizer. And if you've been following me recently, I have been a little active about the stock because I think it's going to be in the news very soon. In fact, it already is. This whole space is being talked about. All right, so let's get to it. Now, what I want to show is I think we're seeing capitulation right now in this stock, which means the bottom is forming as we speak. So, in case you don't know, capitulation basically means when you have a selling climax. So, you have such an aggressive amount of selling, which typically aggressive selling is bearish because you would be catching a falling knife. However, in some situations, when it gets really aggressive, then you can say this is capitulation and the sellers have been maxed out and we probably have a bottom. So I'm just gonna and the main way you see this is of course a rapid decrease in the price, but the most important aspect is volume. So that's what we're gonna take a look at right now. So roughly, we're like taking a look at these high volume bars. Something when it gets over 300 million, that's just an arbitrary number, but I've just noticed that when it starts to get above 300 million, that's when we get these really uh, big bars that stand out. So that's what I'm going to take a look at. So let's start. Okay. Now there's one instance over here. There's roughly one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and then this would be the eighth one right now. So we can see that when the bars get this high, they tend to mark turning points. So in this case here, um, that was a lot of buying. Down here, that was earnings. So wasn't the greatest signal. Down here, this was capitulation. This was a 7.5% drop. Big red candle, big volume. It wasn't even an earnings week. And we got that move that had marked the bottom for many, 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 many weeks to follow. Right, so that was a good signal there. Same thing here. Um, Now we go back some more. Look at that. Now this was the opposite of capitulation. This is a buying climax, where it was being what was in the news at that point was Omicron. This is December of 2021, where the stock rapidly increased almost 13%, and that marked the very top. The very, very final top came on max volume when everyone was buying. After that, we got an aggressive bear market that this stock has basically never seen in its history. Another one here. This was a signal. You had big buying on earnings. That signaled to you a start of a very strong bull market, right? And then once you get that signal for a second time, that was the top. Let's go back some more. We can see the signal here. This was when the vaccine news was released in November of 2020. So we got an insane amount of volume. You can see that big buying, right? Now, of course, what did that lead to? That led to a local top, aggressive shakedown, aggressive correction followed. So again, whoever bought this move, this aggressive increase in price, um, they were shaken out and there were much better entry levels. So you can see for the most part, and then that was the week the vaccine news was released, hence the big volume. So again, in general, you can see that there's a higher probability that when you have a rapid increase in price followed by the big volume, the trade might have been is getting really crowded. And if it's getting crowded, then understand that the opposite is going to happen, like it happened here, like it happened there, and to the reverse down here. When everyone is buying, it tops out. When everyone is selling, it bottoms out. So once again, we can see another monster bar, right? That's a massive volume bar with a 7% drop. And prior to that, you had a few red weeks as well. You can see two and a half, one ish. another 5%, 7%. This is a very aggressive drop, and the stock is oversold if you look at the RSI. So when it's oversold, you have a aggressive drop, this volume, sentiment is also, and the reason for all of this is because there are talks that RFK Jr. is not good for vaccines and all of that. So the sentiment is terrible, like it was here, and that was the bottom. So the way to play this is if um, now this doesn't tell you when it's going to turn around and how far up it's going to go. All it tells you is that this is probably the bottom, and for investors or someone who wants to sell puts and collect premium, this would be a very good level to do so. That's all it tells you. That your risk by selling puts or simply buying and holding is very low at this point because we've probably seen capitulation. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we also see a rapid turnaround. But again, this doesn't tell you when it's going to turn around and by how much. It simply tells you the bottom is probably here or very, very close. Can always bleed a little lower, but let's see. All right. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing your feedback.